Short little video here going back to the LS motors. Here we have the $100 5.3, and sitting on it is the Hummer pan, or the muscle car oil pan. And over here is a traditional 2099 through 2006 Gen 3 truck pan. They build this as the swap pan. The muscle car pan isn't a terrible choice, but for the money, it's like $232, $235 now. You might not want to use it in most situations. You really don't get too much more clearance than the truck pan. I mean, in the S10, I have the muscle car pan, and I went with that not because of the depth. You can use a stock truck pan. The depth isn't the problem, even though this is like 8 1/4 here. It's the dimension here from the front of the pan to the back of the block, which causes issues. You know, you get a margin of, what is this at its peak, like 7.5 inches, and this pan is just over 7, like 7 1/4. And this bad boy from the back of the pan to the front is 9 inches, roughly 8 3/4, 9 inches. Now we have a little more clarity when you have them side by side. Muscle car pan, or the Hummer pan, is going to be what's going to go on Steves 4.8 here. 7 3/4, I was wrong, versus 8 1/2. In my opinion, and this is strictly my opinion, this pan should only exclusively be used in the S10 or in a Colorado. If you're going to do any other swap, especially an older A-body or even a Ford or something, spend the money at the Holley pan. Pickups are much different too. This is your standard full-size truck pickup. One thing to note, the importance, the O-rings are different. Let me get these into the light. The Hummer pan GTO, maybe the LS1, use the red O-ring. Thicknesses are different if I remember correctly. So in most of the early 99 through 07s, they take the big, thick green O-ring. This is a problem, an oil pressure problem. People put these motors together and have no oil pressure, and usually it stems here. And one thing that baffles me is they give you the locking collar here. It's only got one lock, or one bolt to lock the tube down to the pump. Yet both holes are threaded. Yeah, I know they sell an aftermarket support brace which goes on the other side, but it still makes no sense to me. Even though it's been a few weeks, it's not a bad idea to recheck. Pickup tube is back on. You got to make sure you don't pinch that O-ring. If you're using a used O-ring, which you shouldn't do anyways, anytime you pull this pickup tube out, you're going to replace the oil pan, or you're going to do something, always change that O-ring. It's cheap insurance. Me, I don't really care, because this engine's going to go on a standing I'm going to use it for, you know, testing purposes and stuff. I might end up in a motor or a car one of these days, I don't know. But anytime you change your pickup and your baffle or whatnot, or any of this, always use a new O-ring at the oil pump. So I unsafely had this thing, and I mean this thing I'm referring to, oil pan here is full of carbon and crap. It's all dusty now. I had this oil pan sitting in my shed full of gasoline. Not the smartest thing to do. Gasoline's a great solvent, but it's a very, very dangerous solvent. If you're sitting outside and you can cover it and you're away from the house, away from, you know, anything, you by all means put some gas in there and use it as a solvent. Just remember, it's incredibly dangerous. I would not recommend doing it near your house, your garage, anything. But it took all that baked on crap that was in the bottom of the pan and cleaned it up pretty good. So I'm gonna get this pan back on.